Good afternoon. Today is the 14th of September and it's time to do our usual monthly roundup of the new car sales figures in this country. So we're going to be looking at the top 10 best-selling cars of August 2022. So it's been an interesting month actually for sales figures in this country, and there are one or two surprises and differences from a lot of other months. First of all, I can tell you that for a change, we've actually got a positive figure. The total of registrations, I really should say registrations, but I can't stop saying sales, it's always why I say sales, has actually gone up by 1.2% in comparison with August 2021. First thing we'll look at is the difference in the private, fleet and business sales. Private sales are actually up by 3.2%. Their market share is actually changed by about 1% compared with last year. It's up to 50.6%. Fleet sales are still down though, they're down by 1.6%. Their composition has actually gone from 49% to 47.6%. Now the private and fleet sales in total, they're sort of around the 32 to 34,000 a month for both 2021 and 2022. Business sales don't really make up many in this country anymore at all. They've actually increased significantly. They've gone up by 27%, but that's only 947 sales up to 1199. So not really significant, but the market share nevertheless has gone from 1.4 to 1.7%. Let's look at this sort of power source mix now, and for, gosh, I don't know how many months this has been. The forbidden fuel, diesel, what we don't talk about on this channel, but we have to because of these figures, that has decreased again. I don't know why that's a surprise to anyone and why people sort of keep going on me all the time. I still get people say, why don't you talk about them on your channel? It's because they're just becoming less and less relevant to most buyers of new cars. I realise there are lots of used ones still there, they're still making them, but in terms of actually what's going to happen in the future, it is not becoming very relevant anymore. And still with this ban that's coming for combustion engine cars with no form of plug-in hybrid system that will come in supposedly in 2030, and it's trying to make us all switch to purely electric cars, I don't think these will have much of a future at all. It's just the way that it is. I've never said anywhere that actually I hate them. I just said we can't talk about them. That's quite a difference actually in sort of my opinion of them. And people who just get sort of go on rants about it, well, you tend to get your comments removed because I don't really think you understand what's going on, and you waste your time. So the percentage change is -12. It's gone from about 5,000 to about 4,500. The market share's dropped again from 7.5 to 6.5%. Petrol cars still make up an enormous percentage actually of the cars that we buy. It's by far the largest still. Obviously, if we have to go through this ban in 2030, then that will change significantly, and it already is changing. Some manufacturers do intend to become fully electric by 2025. But for now, the market share last August was 43.3%. It's now 46%, and actually we're going in the opposite direction. The percentage change is way above just the general market at 1.2%. It's 7.5%. Number of cars sold has gone from 29,500 to 31,700. So I don't know what's going on with that. Who knows? Mild hybrid forbidden fuel, once seen as kind of a saviour of this format, it's not particularly working. Rather like mild hybrid petrol's not working either, really. The kind of most prominent form now is the battery electrics, but we'll look at the mild hybrids. With the ones that the forbidden fuel, The market shares dropped from 4.9% to 3.7%, 24% decrease. Number of cars sold has gone from 3310 to 2527. The mild hybrid petrols, which include an awful lot of manufacturers, and I think Suzuki pretty much most of their lineup is mild hybrid petrols. Not exclusively, there are some full hybrids there, but they've gone in general on the market from 14.3% of the market to 12.1%, 14% down on last year. The number of cars sold has gone from about 10,000 to about 8,000 really. There's no sort of no easy way to say that. Whereas electric cars, as you'd expect, have massively increased, the biggest increase of all. Just shows where everything's going, doesn't it? The market share has gone from 11% to 14.5%, and that's an increase of 35%. Number of cars sold has gone from about 7,000 to about 10,000. Plug-in hybrids, that I think is not perhaps indicative of what is going to happen, but they are quite expensive cars. They can be very useful. I had an MG HS plug-in hybrid on test for a week in September 2021, and that was a really, really good car. I really liked that. But if these are going to be the only combustion cars on sale, some form of plug-in hybrids from 2030, then we're not really being encouraged very much to buy them at the moment, it seems. The market share has dropped from 7.4% to 5.6%. Number of cars sold has gone down by 23% from about 5,000 to about 4,000. It's not great, really. The full hybrids, I hate the term self-charging hybrids. I will never use that in relation to a car. It's just a stupid term. Some people like that. I think I just prefer the term full hybrid or standard hybrid. And there are lots of those around. Toyota no, not the Auris, now it's the Corolla. The Toyota Corolla is the biggest seller, I think, of all of these, and it's a good car. There's loads of others. There's the new Suzuki Vitara full hybrid. There's loads of others, but that's actually not changed a lot. The market share has actually only gone down very, very slightly, and sales are holding quite firm. They've only changed by about 0.7%, about 8,000, and the market share has held firm at just under 12%. We'll now go on to the bit which I think most of you prefer, to hear about the top 10 best-selling cars of last month. This year so far, it's the Corsa is very well clear of everything else. It's about 5,000 sales clear of the next place, which is the Ford Puma. But the Corsa, for some reason, last month didn't sell an awful lot in comparison to what it normally does. Fiesta, of course, is no longer on this chart. The Puma massively outsells the Fiesta, as does the Cougar. Reasons why the Fiesta doesn't sell too many, I've talked about this before, but no reason to go into that now. Top seller last month was actually the Polo, and I have done a Polo on the channel, a current generation one, the GTI, and I might leave a link to that in the description actually, if you're interested in that. It's not the current shape, it's a I think it's a 2018 or 2019, the one that I drove. I forget exactly now. It's not bad, it's a good car. So 1902, that's how many were sold last month. Second place is a Puma, which is the second place on the overall chart, but it makes sense, at 1875. Third place is the Hyundai Tucson, which is actually in 6th place overall this year, which is quite a surprise to me. Fourth is the Corsa at 1608. Next is the Volkswagen T-Roc, which doesn't appear in the top 10 so far this year, but it's no sort of stranger to the monthly sales, just the annual sales so far it hasn't appeared in. Then there's a Cougar 1281, which is actually in 8th place so far this year. Then the Peugeot 208. The bottom four in here, I've not really seen much in the sales figures actually so far for 2022, which is interesting. 7th, the 208 on 1244. Then the Vauxhall Crossland at 1235. Then the Vauxhall Mocha at 1228, very close. and the next one's a Citroen C3 1140. All these cars use the same platform, all of them. It's called the Stellantis EMP2 platform. That's really weird. I don't understand why. I've never seen the Citroen or the 208 in the self-figures before. Should we be concerned? I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comment section below. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. So now we look at individual manufacturers. For those of you who are new to this segment, well, welcome. I don't know how you've got this far anyway, because it's not particularly interesting to most people, but some of you find this absolutely fascinating, which is why we continue to actually make these videos in the first place. So what we do is we look at how many cars have been sold compared with last August, in this case. We look at their market share, and we look at percentage change. We start in alphabetical order with Abarth. Now Abarth has a bit of a problem. They've only really got one model on sale, which is variations of the current Fiat 500 with combustion power source that came out in 2007. But actually based on the platform of the previous Fiat Panda, which came out in 2003. So it's old technology now, and it's made worse by the fact that there's only one engine available, I think, in those. And it's a variation on the old fire engine introduced in 1985. Now that's not necessarily a bad engine. The most recent ones are very good, actually. If you look after them and maintain them and change the cam belt regularly, they're pretty good. They weren't massively good at the start when they came out of the Uno in 85, but the thing is, this power source is just not really cutting the mustard anymore. In fact, in May, Fiat said they were going to drop all cars with a electrical sort of assistance engine or fully electric. What I mean is, if you didn't have a hybrid or mild hybrid, then they just get dropped from the range. Now that includes things like the Tipo and the 500X that aren't, enormous sellers over here, but they've had to do that for reasons of emissions and other things. So the one that's really missed out on this is Abarth with that. I think they call it the T-Jet engine actually these days, and I don't know whether they're going to have another power plant to replace this at all. So the number of cars sold has gone from 135 to 7. Presumably those are late registrations, and that's it. That's a change of 95% down on last August. Let's hope it's not all like that. In fact, Alfa Romeo, another Stellantis brand, they've seen their sales increase. It's not a massive increase. It's about, well, 6 cars, but still an 11% increase. It's gone from 53 to 59, and their market share has increased slightly from 0.08 to 0.09. Alpine, they've also had a big decrease for some reason, but then when your sales figures are, barely in double figures, gone from 10 to 2, then it's not really that significant. Audi, though, now in a market that's up by 1.2%, a 20.4% change is not good, particularly as Audi is one of the best-selling brands actually in this country. But yeah, there's a 20.4% decrease. Their market share has gone from 8.4 to 6.7%, and the number of cars sold has gone from 5,800 to 4,500. That's not great. Bentley, again, a manufacturer, only sells in double figures, not very that significant, 72 to 42, still a 42% decrease. BMW, though, their sales have increased, unlike Audi. Audi was selling far more than them last year, they're not this time. They're outselling Audi. Their sales have gone up by 9%. Their market share has gone from 6.5 to 7%. And the number of cars sold has gone from 4,400 to 4,800. Citroen, a huge increase for them, and they're not the only ones either. I don't know why. I absolutely have no idea. I'm not aware of them launching too many new models, and the biggest seller for Citroen has been the C3, which has been out, a little while now. So I don't know what's happened, but There we go. 98% increase. Their market share has jumped from 1.77 to 3.5%. The number of cars sold has gone from 1,200 to 2,400. Cupra also have seen a huge increase in sales. Number of cars sold has gone from 349 to 854. It's probably because actually the Cupra Born has sort of been released. That'll be something that's increased sales a lot. I've yet to actually sample one of those for myself. I have driven an ID3 though, and they are sort of similar in a way. So then we've got Dacia, who have released the Jogger, which seems to have been, well, a very successful car for them so far. Their sales have gone up by 108%. Their market share has gone from 1.2% to, 1.2% to 2.5%, and their sales have gone from 800 to 1,700. Fiat themselves, though, have shown the same pattern as Abarth, but not as bad. They've gone they've gone down, by 35%. Their market share has gone from 1.4% to 0.9%, and the number of cars sold has gone from about 1,000 to about 600. Ford, I think, probably still will win the sales figures for this month. We'll see as we go on, but they've actually increased the sales. Principally, the Puma's been very popular in the last month. It's a 16% increase. Their market share has gone from 7.65% to 8.8%. Number of cars sold has gone from 5,200 to 6,000. Genesis have seen an 833% rise in their sales. Now, that's not as impressive as it sounds. This time last year, they really only had sort of press cars around, and now they're actually selling them, and they only sold 56 cars, so it's only 0.08% of the market. So that's basically an anomaly, I think, really. Honda have decreased by 34%. I don't really know why. They make some very good cars. The HR-V springs to mind immediately, although that's a bit overpriced in my opinion. Their market share has gone from 2.5 to 1.6. The number of cars sold has gone from 1,700 to 1,100. Hyundai, quite the reverse. Their market share has gone up by 35%. I don't know whether it's to do with the new Ioniq 5, which isn't a new car anyway at all. That's been out over a year, I think, but it's been a big seller, I think, for them. That's a very nice looking car in my opinion. Some people don't like that, but I personally do. I think it's the best selling car Hyundai make, actually. But yes, the market share has gone from 5% to 6.6%. Number of cars sold has gone from 3,400 to 4,500. Jaguar, very much almost in line with the market in general. Their sales are up by 1%. It's not a huge increase. It's sort of 604, 610, and their market share remains the same at 0.89. Jeep, another Stellantis brand that is bucking the trend of increase this month. Their sales have gone down by 37%. It was 318, it's only 200 now, and the market share has gone from 0.47 to 0.29. Kia, bizarrely, are sort of bucking their trend on last year. They've not had a particularly good month, unlike Hyundai, which is really, really strange, because they're essentially the same cars underneath, made by the same company. Their market share has gone down from 6.4% to 5.3%. Number of cars sold has gone from 4,300 to 3,700. I don't know why that is. Land Rover, like their sister company Jaguar, they have actually had quite a good month. Their sales are up by 4.6%. The market share has gone from 1.86 to 1.92. A number of cars sold has increased as well, from about 1,300 to about 1,325. Lexus, I don't know, monumental sales collapse. I really don't understand why. They've gone from 808 cars to 293. They've lost over half their market share. It was 1.2, it's now 0.4, which is a 64% decrease. Maserati and a company in double. Fortunately, viewers, I did bring my backup camera today. The other one decided that it was just going to overheat and turn off, which was not very good. Never mind. So yes, we'll go to Mazda next. They also had a decrease, quite a substantial one in the last month, and I don't particularly know why. About 22%. Number of cars sold has gone from it's gone from about 1550 to about 1200. I don't really know why that would be. They make some really good cars, Mazda, and they've just launched a thing called the CX-60 that I really do want to review, and I'm hoping to actually get my hands on one of those at some point, because I've actually been offered one to film. It just depends on logistics and things to be able to actually do one of those. But it's a sort of big plug-in hybrid SUV. Mercedes-Benz, now they used to be kind of up there with Audi and BMW, the number of cars that they sold over here. It's really not the case anymore. Their sales figures are down to under 3,500. They were 3,800 last year. This last month it's gone down to about 3,200, which is a 15% decline. Their market share's gone from about 5.6% to 4.7%. MG, very, very rare to see this, but MG have had a sales decline. I don't know why it is. It's probably due to the fact that they simply can't keep up with the number of orders that they've had. And the new MG5, the facelifted one, is not out yet. They've been sort of making a lot of capacity for the MG4, which I'm hoping to review quite soon. I have been offered one. It's just a question of actually, again, logistics of being able to get up to where I need to get up to and actually film it. So yes, I think it's probably just a blip for them, and once they actually get enough production going, then they'll be able to increase their sales figures yet again. But as it is, it's down by 6%. Market share has dropped from 2.2% to 2%. Mini, they've had a very good month indeed, actually. Their sales are up by 61.4%. Their market share has gone from 1.4% to 2.3%. Number of cars sold has gone from 1,000 to 1,600. Mitsubishi doesn't really count anymore. Nissan have done quite well as well. I don't know if the new Ariya is on sale yet. It might not be. The Qashqai certainly is one that sells quite well for them, and that has resulted in the market share going from 2.7% to 3.1%. The number of cars sold has gone from 1,850 to about 2,140. So yeah, 60% increase. Porsche, they actually sell. Sorry, Peugeot. I do apologise. We'll do Peugeot first. Porsche and Polster underneath. Peugeot's also had a good month. They're about 10% up. Their market share's gone from 3.1 to 3.35. Number of cars sold has gone from 2,100 to 2,300. Those are pretty good figures, to be honest. Polestar, for some reason, they registered far fewer cars last month in August 2021. I don't know why. The market share has gone down from 0.39 to 0.17, and the overall sales have dropped by 46%. Porsche itself, but we're very keen to get to, as I've said, they are on 44% increase. The car sold has gone from 300 to 430, which is very good. Similarly with Renault, they've had a market share increase from 1% to 1.15. Number of cars sold has gone from 671 to 790, and that's a rise of about 18%. Now Seat are just not doing well in this country at the moment. They haven't been for quite a while. I don't know why. I obviously used to own a Seat, and 4 years ago we started the channel. That was the car that I owned. That was the very first video, was the Seat Toledo Mark IV. I don't know what's happened to them in recent years. They were very much a brand on the rise in 2017 when we bought ours. I don't know what's happened to them now, to be honest. I don't understand. But anyway, their sales have gone from 2,200 to 840, and that's a percentage drop of 62. and the market share has gone from 3.2 to 1.2. Skoda, their Czech cousins, who had a very similar number of cars sold last August, it was about 2,500. They've managed to not only maintain that, they've managed to increase it by about 3%. They're up to 2,500 now, and their market share has gone from 3.6 to 3.7. Smart, it's not a big make in this country, but just barely make any dent on any sales. They're actually smaller than SsangYong. SsangYong have had a very good month, comparatively speaking. They are not a big brand in this country. As a SsangYong owner myself, I'm always happy to see an increase from them. In this case, it's actually a 152% increase. I don't really know why, but it could be that their sales were so dire last year. They only sold 33 cars in August 2021. That, you know, any increase is a good increase if it's gone up to 83. It could be that new Corando EV, which is called the eMotion, is beginning to sort of have some traction here, and they've got a new car called the Torres coming out soon, which is also only available as an electric car in this country. I look forward to trying both if I can. Subaru have not had a great month. They're down by 22%. Like SsangYong, they're quite a small brand over here. Their market share has dropped from 0.1 to 0.08. They've only sold 53 cars last month. Suzuki, again, I don't know what's happened there. They've just launched the new Vitara full hybrid, but their sales are down by 60%. They've gone down in market share from 2.6 to 1%. Number of sales has dropped from 1,700 to 700. Tesla, who are now marked as a different brand in this rather than being counted as to other imports, they did register quite a few cars last month, but they're nowhere near the chart, so it obviously wasn't a huge time for imports. They're up by 93% though. Last August they sold about 500 cars. They're now selling about 950, and the market share has gone from 0.72 to 1.4. But when a boatload of those arrives over here, you can be assured those figures will be a lot higher. Toyota, a very popular brand in this country actually, not the least because they make those Corollas at a place called Burniston, it's in Derbyshire. They've actually decreased very slightly, and they were outsold by Vauxhall, which is really weird. That didn't happen last year. They've gone from about 4,900 cars to about 4,600. Their market shares dropped from 7.2 to 6.6. Vauxhall, though, have massively cleaned up with 3 models in the top 10, as we've seen. They've gone from 4.7% of the market share to 6.7% of the market share. Number of cars sold has gone from 3,200 to 4,600, and that's a 44% increase, which is remarkable. Volkswagen, though, have outsold Fords. It's not really a surprise if the Polo's at number 1. Their market share has stayed remarkably consistent, though. It's gone from about 10% to, again, 10%, 10.27 to 10.31, but number of cars sold has increased just under 7,000, from just under 7,000 to just over 7,000. So their market sharing, their percentage increase is about 1.6, but that's enough for them to actually be the top manufacturer over here. We love our Volkswagens in this country, viewers. Have done for some time. Volvo, they have had a decrease of 37%. I don't know why. Number of cars sold has gone from about 1,200 to about 750. The market share has dropped from 1.8 to 1.1. And as I said before, the sales last month were up by 1.2% on August 2021. So there we are, viewers. We did get through that eventually. I do apologise for the strange thing that was going on right at the beginning of the video. I have just checked, and it was something to do with the headphones being plugged in or something. It only lasted the first 30 seconds or so, but it's all been sorted out now, I think. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this sort of thing or other stuff. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. and we will see you again soon for more automotive analytics.